Hey guys, Figure Craft here, and today we're going to be going over a big figure I got in the mail. Let me get the box. Here's the box. It's the bootleg version of the Playarts Kai Cloud Strife and Fenrir, made by Legend Creation. I received mine in the mail with some damage over here. There's that side of the box. There's that side of the box. The bottom. Here's the back. And let me just get this stuff out of here. The stand's still in the box. I don't plan on ripping it out of the box. Let me get this clamshell pack cover off. And get out the stuff that I need. This over there. Okay. Here's all the stuff. First of all, I'll show you all the condition I received it in. This is how it came in the mail. It was broken. I had to use my hand drill to drill small holes in the foot pedals that were broke off. Use this small wire. Then I mixed red Bondo with Gorilla Super Glue and then glued everything together. I'll show you all the damage here in a few. But here's the figure on the bike. I got him on his cell phone, and his goggles are around his neck. And you can see my other bike right over there. This is the bottom of the bike that snaps on, because you can take the cap off to turn on the lights. There's the headlight. Let's see if I can pull him forward a little bit to get to the tail light. Here's the tail light. This one is a huge upgrade compared to the original Playarts Fenrir. I have all of his swords in the holsters. Here's the first Tsurugi in its closed form, when it don't have the swords attached to it. Set it there. Here's one of the saw blades to the first Tsurugi. Here's those swords that are on the side of the first Tsurugi. They don't close like on the show. They're made in this stant. The other ones are on the other side. Then here is the bottom sword to the first tsurugi. Another thing I had to do with this one too, on the bootleg they forgot to make the slots for these pieces to go in. So I had to use a drill a hole and slide the drill bit along, grinding out a section in the sides of the bike. For these to fasten in like that. Let's look at the cloud figure. Let me get him off the bike. If I can get him, he's hard to get on and off the bike. And we'll see what all this cloud figure does. First of all, the articulation in his legs. He's on a hinge joint in the legs. His legs can go up about that far. They have a swivel. He has double jointed knees. He has toe articulation. Hinges at the feet. There is no swivel in the ankles. His cloth is made of real cloth. He has a swivel at the bicep. He has hinges at the elbows. He has a swivel in the hand and also a hinge in the hand. When it wants to, there we go. Same thing with this one. This is on a hinge joint, the shoulder pad is. This arm can be removed to put his other arm on, which I won't do in this video because it's so hard to get in and out. But here's the other arm, and he has his band. I wish they would have added the geostigma on his arm, but they didn't. Same thing as the other hand. It has a swivel in the wrist, hinges. This has got his fist hand. Here is his switchable face with the goggles. I had to do some repairs on this too. They made the hole too small, so I had to get a drill to drill the hole in the head bigger in order for the ball peg to fit on the head. But after I got everything fixed and looking right, it's a pretty good figure for a bootleg. It's a whole lot better too than having to pay $800 to $900 for the real version just to get the motorcycle. Here's the detail in his face. He has a ball joint in the head. He can look side to side. He has a little hinge in the neck. Here's his goggles that he came with that I got around his neck. Here's his cell phone. And it actually can come out. You can see how small that is. I basically have him in the scene when the movie first comes on and he's listening to his messages on the phone. Is how I had him on the bike. Then we turn to the back of him. Here's all of his sword holsters. That holds his swords. Here's the details in the bottom of his boots. He has all the belts on his pants. He has some articulation in the chest area. Move side to side a little bit. But that's it for the cloud figure. Let's get to the bike. Now for the fenrir, this one's kind of hard to do because it's such a big bike. The parts that you saw in the picture that were broken off, this is one of them right here. This cylinder piece was broken off. Basically drilled a hole in the bike, put a piece of wire inside, mixed up the red Bondo with the super glue and glued it back on, which gives it an extra tight stick. This whole piece right here, this whole pipe piece, was broken off the whole side of the motorcycle. Same gist. You can see right here where it was broken off, and you can see the red Bondo a little bit. Those two foot pedals in there was what was broke off. This is what I had to use this for before I put this on. I had to use this hand drill to drill small tiny holes in there, insert wires into the foot pedals that would give it a stronger stick than just them being glued back on. And then I put this pipe system back on afterwards. There is a lot of detail in this bike. The wheels, they move. Same thing with the front. It has a little bit of articulation in here. These are on the ball joint too, but for some reason mine are so tight that they won't move, and I don't want to take a risk of forcing them and breaking it, so I just leave it like that. These can come off, and these can go back on without the extra sword slots. I had to use an X-Acto blade to carve down some of the pegs to make them fit into the holes, because some pegs were too big for the holes. So I used the X-Acto blade and shaved the pegs down a bit. Here's the front of the motorcycle. Let me find the switch. You can see the light. Let me turn this lamp off. There you go. And then let me see if I can... It's very hard to maneuver this motorcycle around because it's so big. There's the tail light. And then, as you saw, you just flip the switch back off and the lights go back off. Then I leave the bottom cover off because it's so much easier to turn the lights on and off without having to try to get this back off, because you'd have to reach under the motorcycle, and that's very hard to do. Let's see if I can flip this without knocking any swords out. Here's the bottom of the bike. You have a kickstand right here. It works pretty good.